We have one particular chart which is really squeezing into the apex of a symmetrical triangle, very similar to what we saw in the USDT dominance just a couple of days ago. In today's video, I want to talk about that particular chart. I also want to have a look at if there's any trade opportunities. We're in a low volume environment. What's most likely to happen next for both Bitcoin and the rest of the cryptos? Smash the like button, hit the bell notification, and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Let's get straight into it. Quick reminder that for today, the US stock market is only open for about half the day, 9:30 to 1 p.m. So do keep that in the back of your mind. Of course, that will affect the liquidity, right? The liquidity within the market. And it just came off of Thanksgiving. So for the US market, happy Thanksgiving. Most of you are probably stuffed with turkey and waking up very, very, very late to this video. But hopefully it's still relevant for you later on today. It should be. We're going to focus still on some of the high time frames, and the signal that I'm looking at may give you about 24 hours to position, hopefully on the right side of that trade. So let's get into it straight away. Very, very, very quick overview over here. Dailies are still coming down over there for the broader crypto market cap. Some of the coins on the weekly are up. Hourlies are kind of just chopping about, not too much that we can pull from that. So looking at the stock market, while you've recovered some very key levels, I'm literally just going to quickly look at the US markets. S&P 500 holding above that is a good sign. Dow Jones holding above the yellow box is a good sign. QQQ, which was lagging, is now approaching the yellow box and looking to reclaim that, which is also going to be a good sign for potential continuation higher. When we look at the crypto market, though, well, we've seen the overall bull market pullbacks that we've had within this cycle are very, very, very similar to the prior cycles. 2016, 17, 32% on average. 2020 and 2021 cycle, 35% on average. And then we have this cycle, which has been 27% on average. But of course, there is still the debate of whether the cycle is over or not. So the one thing I wanted to showcase on this chart over here, and I'll just quickly change the view so you can see the full screen and highlight each of those corrective phases within each of those cycles. What we've seen is the number of corrections, right, is an important thing to look at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. That, although it is a 31% correction, hardly looks like it. And basically, that was your end of your cycle, right? This one here, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the cycle ended. This cycle, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now 7. The important thing to understand is the price in terms of the drawdown. When it overextends beyond what the average is, which is way beyond the average. For example, if you look over here in this correction over here, 55% in terms of the number of pullbacks as well, you had very, very, very closely resembled near the end phase, right? You had met the timing cycle end. So it's the same thing over here. After 7 major corrections, you have to assume that any bounce that occurs off of this, because this basically went beyond the prior pullbacks in terms of price, there is a big shift in the market structure and sentiment. And therefore, even though, yes, it's very highly likely that you'll bounce off of this level, any pullback that occurs, or any bounce, that leads into a lower high is probably going to pull back further. And you are going to be looking at low prices and most probably the end of the cycle. So a lot to consider over there. And that's why I posed that question. If you just go through into the poll over there, make sure all of you vote. We have only 500 of you that have voted. So please go and vote over there. Also smash the like button on the video. It helps to get distribution and get the show content out. A very big split, right, between, I guess, two opposing ends when it comes to you guys, the viewers. And I want to show you something when it comes to prediction markets and how closely the prediction markets also resemble a very similar split. So we got 39% of you that are sitting predominantly in USDT, and I said 20% split, right? 80% Tether, stablecoins, US dollars, whatever it is you want to call it. And then we got about 20% of that vote in Bitcoin or crypto, right? Meaning you have market exposure. And then we go to the opposite end where 40% of you are basically majority exposed to the market and only 20% in cash. Now, if you are in this category, by the way, I would not say that it's a good time to exit the market right here, because you will probably bounce. And there's a high probability that you'll probably bounce over $100,000, at least in the coming weeks and months, because that's going to be the point of maximum psychological challenge and pain for both the bulls and the bears to determine what to do next. We spoke about that yesterday, right? And then we got the rest of you sitting somewhere in the middle of there. So very, very, very interesting poll results. And I want to have a look at that a little bit further. Let's get back into this. We have seen as well 150 billion in unrealized losses, the most that we've seen when you're looking at the on-chain metrics since all the way back in 2022. So, of course, the correction has been pretty severe. And all you need to do is look at the price to tell that, this resembles some of those pullbacks that we saw in 2017, but we have a much, much, much larger market cap. So the question is, are we still in a bull market, or is this in fact a bear market? Well, if you want my opinion, I think it's better to treat it as a bear market for the simple fact that you've met the timing cycle end 1,070 days later. That's exactly on par with the longest cycle that we previously saw, which was 2016-17. On top of that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 corrections, and it was over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 corrections. And is it over? That's the question. Well, you will bounce, but any lower high over there, you have to treat it as over. And if we look at the Bitcoin market cycle peak to the ROI from the peak to current levels, meaning it's measuring the drawdown and the rate at which price is drawing down. I'm measuring in comparison to 2021 cycle, and you can see we're the pink one right now, right? We're the pink one over here. So far, it's following suit, which means that maybe it's going to mark down again. But I want to also have a look compared to 2017. You can see over here, 2017, that first drop was very, very, very aggressive. So if we are in a bear market, this is basically what you can expect. I think that very similar to how the bull market played out, you are going to follow most similarly to 2017 and 2021 cycle in terms of the rate at which prices do draw down. Now, will price get over $100,000? That's the big question, because I just told you that I think that that is where the psychological tension will be the highest for both the bulls and the bears, because getting over $100,000 means, again, that bears will have to question, is the bull run back on? Especially if you start to reclaim things like the 50 exponential moving average on the weekly time frame, which is many people's metric for determining, is it a bull market or a bear market? I prefer to use the 21 weekly exponential moving average, which is much quicker in getting me in and out of trouble, right? Or let's say into a risk on market and out when there's trouble coming into the market. It's much quicker moving than the 50. So when we look at the prediction markets like 𝗙𝗁, well, will Bitcoin cross $100,000 again this year? Currently, it's at 58%. It was 60% just before starting this video. So it looks like a lot of people are voting over here, which means the masses are leaning towards yes, it will. I must say, if I had to place my bet over here, I'm going to click yes. If I place my bet today, I'm 100% clicking yes over here. I do think that you'll probably see price go over $100,000 again before the end of this year, but that will most likely be a low high that will get faded. So we'll look at the warning signs, what you need to focus on, and a whole lot more. Stay till the end. I did want to also talk about the price action over here when looking at the Coinbase premium, which you've seen has now started to rise. Remember, the funding rate has been negative. We had been focusing on that on this chart, but we don't have a confirmed weekly close yet. And when that funding goes negative, this does theoretically lead to substantial bounces, even if that negative funding is occurring during a bear market phase like this. Even if you're getting that negative funding in a bear market phase, it does tend to elicit large bounces. So looking on the low time frame, negative funding over here on the 4-hourly time frame, but the Coinbase premium is starting to move back towards the upside, which just simply means that spot selling is starting to dwindle off, and a lot of leverage is starting to step back into the market, and that's going to change where those liquidity zones are and where price is most likely to go next. So if we look over here in the Whale Room Discord, and you have a look at where these deltas are placed, well, they're still positive, right? So bulls are slowly grinding price up, but is there spot buying, right? Maybe the spot selling has slowed down, but is there spot buying coming into the market? Well, the answer is not yet. And we can double confirm that by looking at the volume, which I'll bring up in just a moment's time. So let's have a look at where these heat maps are. Currently, we got the liquidations at 52 million worth at $83,000 on the weekly time frame. So starting to build up a lot more liquidity on the downside on the high time frames versus on the upside. And if we zoom in and we go into the 24-hour, and then we'll also look at the 12-hour, 24 hours, we've got like 10 million. Very, very, very low liquidity above. It's not a lot. And we are in a super low liquidity environment. And then the 12-hour, also almost 10 million over there. So most of the liquidity does suggest that bulls will probably continue to squeeze prices higher. But the question is, should you trust that squeeze? Should you trust that pump? Or is it going to get faded? We'll get into that in a moment when we go into the Bitcoin charts. One of the most important charts I wanted to highlight before that, because it's relevant right now, is Ethereum. If you look over here at the ETH-BTC ratio and you look at the RSI, well, the RSI started to break that daily trend line. It has broken above. It's coming back to back tested. Will it create a bump and run scenario? Sometimes in markets, we tend to see the RSIs play out the move before price action does. So is this leading to something? Well, I thought it was interesting because when I pulled up my ETH-BTC chart, you can see over here, you've officially reached the apex. Look at that apex over there. You got the perfect trend line in play. You got the downtrend in play. And now it's like a pressure cooker and it wants to choose direction, either up or down. Now, if the market continues to squeeze towards the upside and more optimism comes into the market, maybe one big buyer comes in and, of course, pushes price higher, then maybe there's going to be more of a risk-on move with an appetite for Ethereum. And the only reason that we say that is because if we look at ETH over here, and we had highlighted from the low of this move to the high of this move that a key level where you'd expect price action to find support and bounce would be between the 0.382 and the 0.5. So that bounce would need to happen very, very, very soon. I guess what I'm saying over here is that if you want to be safe and on the right side of the trade without getting wrecked, it is probably better to wait for that break. Break this downsloping trend line over here, confirmed, come back down maybe first week of December and find support over there. And then you can continue that move towards the upside, which might lead to an outperformance of Ethereum against Bitcoin by as much as 49%, because that takes you into the next overhead major resistance is about 49% up. What does that mean for the USD pair though? Okay. What does it mean for the USD pair? Well, the USD pair on the hourly for Ethereum has been grinding up on this trend line. You have a lot of overhead resistance that's coming into play over here. I find it difficult to believe that you're going to clear this 3,200 level without breaking, or not breaking down, but without putting in a higher low and pulling back. So I'm watching this trend line very, very, very carefully. I am already positioned theoretically into the ETH long over here, which we are up only like 6-7%. That was a recent trade that we took. So there we go, like 6-7% up on that particular trade. But if I were to take a more sizable spot position, what I'd prefer to see is a pullback within this leg. So unfortunately, you're going to have to wait for confirmation of a local high. But once you have that confirmation of a local high, you can pull your Fibonacci tool up to wherever that confirmed local high is. And that's the general area of where we got this 2,800. So if you see a bit of a price pullback like this, maybe that also leads to Bitcoin pulling back. But consequently, Bitcoin is pulling back quicker than Ethereum. That could lead to the break up, pullback into a high low, where you have a confirmation that prices come into a key level. And then this $2,822 level becomes a good opportunity to possibly allocate into some Ethereum. So that is one of the things that I'm watching over there. We'll get into Bitcoin now. We'll see what the rest of the market is doing and thinking. But of course, we are in a very low volume environment. And I said expect this is probably going to be the case if you go on the whale trade site. Daily exchange volume, 7-day moving average continues to move towards the downside. And the big level to defend is going to be that 45 billion mark in terms of 7-day daily exchange volume. We see over here the long to short ratio, the skew is slightly negative. Nothing to write home about. We need a differential of like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in that region to be significant. The 24-hour liquidations, very low. Look at the drop-off over here in the total market cap liquidations, 28% down. It means that no one is really going to be trading today. Okay, no one's really going to be trading today. So it could be a good opportunity if any sort of manipulation occurs over the course of today. It's very easy for them to manipulate price either up or down. Treat it as noise. But if you have a plan, so for example, if this is a plan, hey, I want price to come down to 2.8 to possibly allocate with a stop loss below based on what we're seeing on the ETH-BTC ratio, then use that to your advantage. I mean, definitely hats off to you guys. You're here live right now. You're watching this video on Thanksgiving on a low volume day. So that's pure dedication. Well done. pure dedication. I would expect as well another week of ETF outflows, which just helps to carve out a bottom very, very similar to what we saw over here, right? A lot of consecutive weeks of ETF outflows tends to find a bottom within the market. Bitcoin bottom at $80,000 and then later on rally to 126K. So we are hunting for that potential bottom. Another chart that I'm going to be keeping close attention to is the USDT dominance, which as you can see over here, this was the area watching as this squeezed into the apex, fake out towards the upside and broke down. So similar to what ETH BTC is doing right now. Big breakdown over here. You would expect, based on the structure and the aggressiveness of that move towards the downside, that you should have further downside. So if you get that push up over here and you can coincide these charts together, and I'll show you which ones to make it extra clear, 6.1%, that's your inverse fair value gap, and you're looking for the pullback. You can see if you look at that stochastic RSI, it is moving towards the upside. So when I say put these charts together, I'm talking about, hey, when this pushes up into the inverse fair value gap and hits 6.13, if it shows signs of resistance and rejecting down, go back and look at what ETH BTC is doing on this chart on the daily. Is it breaking out of that, the apex of that triangle? And what is happening on the USD pair? Is it coming down and testing maybe some of these low levels? If yes, then you have an opportunity, because the rejection off here, if it leads to the pullback into 2,800, becomes an opportunity. That becomes an opportunity to look for a trade entry. So let's very quickly run from the hourly all the way through on this USDT dominance. Hourly still crossing towards the upside. We just looked at the 4 hourly, 8 hours, showing that there's upside momentum over here. 12 hourly Stokes are all the way at the bottom, so it could cross up. Daily is all the way at the bottom. So this is interesting. It's interesting because it tells you that the reaction of this level is going to be vitally important to tell us, was this a bull trap or a bear trap? Because if this smashes through, recovers that whole candle, flips this into support based on, for example, the daily stochastic RSI, which would have a lot of room to move towards the upside, well, then that's going to show that you're leading for another leg down, which we did highlight on this chart, as on the weekly chart for Bitcoin, as per all of these, these levels over here. We said it usually takes about 4 weeks to come back down and sweep what everyone thinks is the major low. So if that USDT dominance reclaims that level on the 4 hourly, like this, reclaims this and runs up, well, that's what's going to lead to the sweep of that low one more time. So because price is in limbo, in a little bit of no man's land when it comes to Bitcoin, I don't have definite answers for you on which one comes first or what happens first. All we can do is react and use some of the other dominoes as leading indicators or clues as to what may come next. So one of the best things you can do is focus on that USDT dominance, right? Keep an eye out on that. Okay, next. I told you, very important is study the volume. You have to treat this as a very weak rally when the volume looks like this. Okay, so anything that rallies up into this vicinity over here is most likely in the short to medium term going to be rejected. So bulls are grinding it up, which is what we said in the beginning of this video. They are grinding it up on the low time frames. They're slowly just squeezing price, but the volume is just dropping off, which means it is probably going to be rejected, and that is in alignment with the trend, which is your previous lower high at $108,000. So therefore, anything that fails below that is another lower high. And then you're going to be hopeful that that lower high just pulls back into a higher low. Okay, so that's what we're watching over there. Not only that, but also to mention the recontraction of the Bollinger Band with percentiles, just showing you that bears are taking a breather, grabbing a breath of fresh air before maybe making their next leg, right? Well, that middle Bollinger Band lines up with the 50 fib retracement at $94,000. Combine that with the low volume, it tells you have to expect there's a high chance that you're going to get a rejection anywhere within this area. Anywhere between about $94,000 and $98,000 is incredibly likely to reject in the short to medium term. So in the next couple of days, over the next week, basically. As you can see, every rejection that we've had has occurred off of the middle Bollinger Band over there, and it's just continued to ride price down. So what would that look like? That would look like this. Price squeezing into here, low volume environment is your warning sign. And then if price rejects, so your Bollinger Band with percentile pulls back, recontracts, and then expands again. Okay, and then off of that expansion, we'll be able to tell later, are you just retesting near the lows to put in a higher low, or are you going in for new lows? We don't know that yet. One step at a time. One step at a time is rejective zone. That's it. Okay. So what is the best trade? I guess that's probably also a question. The best trade is probably to observe what Ethereum is going to do, because if it's going to move into a risk-on environment, ETH is telling us based on the ETH BTC chart that there's a real potential that this will break out. Now, if it's a risk-off environment, I'd expect that ETH is just going to break through this upsloping trend line. It's going to continue to move lower, at which point you do nothing and you hold the cash position. Okay, cool. So you got resistance over here. It's all the same story. We can have a look over here just very quickly at the what's going on over here with the momentum oscillators. Kind of neutral over here. Money flow curling back down. Let's look at the 12-hour. Okay, 12-hour is still moving towards the upside. The 8-hour starting to curl over. 4-hour is already coming down with a red dot over here. You haven't crossed any zero lines yet, and you got the hourly red dot as well. VWAP crossing down. Money flow still going up, but probably going to turn over very soon, which will then affect the 4-hourly. So yeah, that's what we're looking at over there. All right, guys, look, we got 79 places available. 79 places available for those of you that want to take advantage of Black Friday. As soon as I finish this video, I'm going to be going and buying everything that I need for Black Friday. So if you do want to join in, remember, we're going to be locking the group down. So it's now or never. If you want to get in, today is Friday. Happy Black Friday. Or I hope that you get all your specials out the way. Don't waste money on things that aren't needed. But if you want to invest in your financial future, join us. We have currently 4.9 star rating on Whale Room as per WAP. If you do want to join, use the sign up code, click sign up, and then use Black Friday 2025. Just copy that and paste that down in the bottom, and you will be added in, right? So the opportunity for you is now. It's listed right over there. Black Friday 2025. It's the biggest discount we'll do. You'll pretty much never get into Whale Room for less ever. Now, I also want to be clear. I have to say something as well about the people that are coming into Whale Room. It's a select type of person that wants to come in. If, for example, you joining Black Friday, and let's just apply the promo code. Let's just apply this over here. Okay, so it is discounting it down from $2,268 to $1,199, which makes it like $99 a month. So what I want to say is, if $99 a month feels like a real stretch for you, don't do it. I'm being honest. This is not for you. It's absolutely not for you. If $99 for you is next to nothing, then this is for you, right? It's going to be an educational place where, it might, like, even if you only got one call in an entire year, which is obviously not going to be the case, but if you did only get one call in an entire year and you had $100,000, you're going to pay it off in almost instantaneously. Okay, then it's for you, right? Then it's for you. So for, if your portfolio is like $1,000, this is absolutely not for you. If your total crypto holdings is $5,000, this is also not for you. If it's $10,000, I don't know, maybe it's not for you. 10 is like basically the entry level, I'd say, is where you want to start. That's the truth, right, guys? I'm telling you the truth, because you have other ways that you can lever up and increase your net worth. You need to figure out other things. This is not going to be a group for those types of people. Remember, we do have 4 other coaches, so there's 5 people, including me. We are dropping a lot of different trades in there daily. So if we just go to my section, I did drop just yesterday. Let me just try that again. Just yesterday, I dropped the Zcash short trade. And we can relook that, right? Let's quickly go to Zcash over here. Where is my, it's this one. Okay, we need to move this up. I think it is on this chart. So let's just quickly move that up and double check on that Zcash trade. So we are in the money. We are in the money on that trade. So these are the types of trades, the things that we do. Look, I'd probably soon look to eliminate the risk. It did come very close to where I said was going to be a key level for Zcash at that like 443, a little bit of a bounce off of there. But I do expect that bounce will lead to lower high. So you have 2 options. One, you can just shave like 5% profit off here for any of you that are in Whale Room and you took that trade with me, because I think you could bounce back into the red zone over here. You could bounce back like this, but it's probably going to be another opportunity for anyone that didn't get in to get in. The reason I say move your stop to, the other way around. The reason I say shave 5% off as opposed to taking your stop loss and moving it to break even is I think if you move your stop to break even, you're going to get stopped out. Because I do think there's a good chance that you'll do this first before continuing back down on Zcash, which has been one of the top performers, but now it's showing relative weakness after a lot of relative strength, and it looks distributive on the daily, and we covered that yesterday on the video as well. So there's the trade. Okay, there is the one trade. The other thing you can take advantage of as well, by the way, guys, is the Bitfunded Black Friday promo. So that's another one. Buy 3, get 6, which means 50% off instantly. The most important thing about this is you're getting 100% profit split. There's nothing more powerful than that. Irrespective, even if you're paying the normal price and not even getting 50% off, getting 100% profit split makes it all worth it. So use the link in the description below. Check it out if you do want to get involved. As I told you, I bought 60. I bought 30 of these. I spread them between 5K, 10K, 15, 25, and I even bought some 50 and 100s. So I bought 30, received 30, which gives me just over 1 per week, which means I can trade that for the entire year. Check bragging rights section, says Arnold. Okay, we can have a look over there. How are the boys and girls doing in the bragging rights section? Let's quickly have a look over there. What's going on over here? Okay, there we go. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. Is that what you want to refer me to? Crushing it on the Bitfunded campaign. Well done. 25K Bitfunded account pass, 100% profit to you. Yes, you deserve it. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 is highly dedicated there each and every single day. And very, very, very good work getting a little bit of mentorship from Waz, one of our traders, and then even 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, one of our members, absolutely crushing it. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 has massive, massive P&Ls every single day. Where's his cards over here? Let's have a look. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 is always crushing it. There we go. Yeah, 743% trade over there. Massive, massive. So look, it's not only me. Even the members are great at, assisting and trading. Look, here's 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 626, 1,393, 7,230. These are crazy numbers. 110, huge profit. So well done. Passing Bitfunded challenges, crushing it in Wellroom. You guys know what to do. 79 spots left if you do want to get involved. The link is below. And then it's not the only thing, right? You can scan this. You can scan this. If you happen to be at home or watching on a TV, just scan that code. It will take you directly there. And then I have to mention as well the Black Friday promo for NordVPN. This is a big one. Let me just double check my notes to make sure I have it 100% correct. You are getting 78% off plus another 4 months free on top of that for Black Friday, which basically means they may as well just give it to you for free. It's like, what are you even paying? You're getting like 95% off basically. And if you're not using a VPN, especially when you're in a public space, this is actually where most of the hacks happen, right? Airports, coffee shops, things like that, right? So be careful. I know most of you have your crypto on your phone. Be very, very, very careful. Okay, so you take advantage of that deal as well. Let's get into some of the other altcoins. Is there anything else? And if so, what is there? What is there? Yes, Dan says massive discount for Nord. Massive discount. They are the blue chip, the premium or the premium. I'm so used to saying NordVPN. One of the premium VPNs out there. They are very, very, very legit. They also remove you off of email lists, by the way. So if you're getting all that emailed spam and you sign up to NordVPN, they have a feature over there as well where they'll wipe you off of all the various different scam, spam email lists that are out there, your email name and personal details. They'll take that down and they'll just erase it off those lists, which is amazing. Okay, can you buy MicroStrategy now? Well, remember I covered about 75% of that short trade profits. So 75%, we're basically at the level. I'm going to give it a bit more time. It's risky. You're buying an aggressive downtrend, but I do think it's due for a bounce, just like Bitcoin. I do think it's due for a bounce, and that bounce will be super aggressive, right? If you look at that, I'm just drawing like structurally how I'd expect the chart to play out. Look at that. I mean, wait, one second. There we go. That is, now we got this thing all the way around. I mean, that can lead to like a 50% bounce, which is crazy. But what I do not want you to lose sight of is the weekly time frame. Because I actually had a look at MicroStrategy just before the session, and I had a look over there at the weekly. And this is what your weekly looks like. So if we just turn everything off to eliminate the noise, that weekly looks bad. So this is why, look, there's a difference between covering your short, which is guaranteed profits and huge profits, I'll add that, and buying. I don't know. This weekly tells me maybe just hold on. Like maybe don't buy yet. This weekly could drop. This weekly could still come down. But covering the short makes sense. Okay, covering some of those short makes sense over here. Alrighty. So, you know, I know there's questions over here. Can you buy MicroStrategy using perps? I'm not sure. I don't know on exchanges if you can buy it using perps, but you can definitely get it on, as you can see over here, you can definitely get MicroStrategy on leverage on Pinex. So I think we might have a link in the description below. Oh yes, I must mention as well, I think they have it also on Bybit. So for Bybit, guys, by the way, you are getting also a big sign-up bonus, $30,000 plus $50. There's a video linked below. Where's that video? Yeah, we just go over here. So if you go to Bybit as well, there's a YouTube video link. You can click that over there. And if you go into Bybit, it will show you in that video how to claim your bonus. So there, if you just play that video, there you go. You click the link, you know, you sign up, you do everything over there, make your deposit. This will show you how to claim those sign-up bonuses. And MicroStrategy they have synthetic stocks on a lot of these exchanges. So I think you can get it as well on Bybit. Okay, and there you go. You can claim your reward. The reward will be deposited over there in your account, in your futures account. Claim them. Just follow the video. It will show you exactly what to do. Okay, what would be a good entry for a long leverage trade on MicroStrategy? So, okay, let's go back to MicroStrategy again. Look, there's a lot of support that's going to be coming into play over here. But look at the difference in price, right? If, you know, you have the lower boundary over here at 102, that's like 75% down still. So you need to wait for a bit more structure to develop over here on MicroStrategy. You should never get the habit of buying downtrends. So my answer is there's no leverage trade over here on MicroStrategy for quite some time. You can take a form of leverage by using options, but that's highly complicated. Alrighty. Guys, in the chat, let me know if there's anything that you see as a wonderful trade opportunity, because sometimes, like 𝗨𝗏𝗏 in 𝗬𝗏𝗏 Discord, right? Sometimes you guys have really good trade opportunities and setups that you've seen that I've maybe missed. Let's double check ASTER. So ASTER was another one that we spoke about, that short trade. It's grinding it out over here. As soon as you take out these lows at 105, so $1.05, I would expect that's going to start to move down quickly. Let's go into the daily charts over here and see what everything else looks like. Let's go onto XRP. So still struggling. You can also study the volume on these things, which I'm sure is also moving towards the downside, very similar to Bitcoin. Solana, is that already the lower high? Is it? I don't know. I think if you have a down day today, very good chance that this will continue down. We already have SUI turning from more or less where we thought it would, which was over here. We said in an extreme scenario, it runs up to about 180. Sonic is already turning over. Say is turning over. Cardano is turning over. AVAX is still moving up. TON is neutral. There's a short trade. Maybe. We said yesterday, if it can run up here, that will be a more high probability short trade. But Casper, look at that daily reversal yesterday. Look at that wick over there. So this one may be a short trade. So if you're looking for a trade, that might be a short trade. Tron, not much to comment over there. Pump, still just chopping about. You guys said look at Pendle. Okay, let's have a look at Pendle. Pendle USDT. Pendle USDT. Pendle. Okay, so I had previously marked off, and I'm going to make this a bit thicker for you. This, parallel channel, just lower lows and lower highs on a more macro scale. Hit support, bounce back up. I'm going to just assume that maybe it's because you want to be long on Pendle. You would want to flip this level into support. There you go. Any throwback that comes into this zone over here, this is kind of your support zone. So if you pull back into like 240 and it holds that, yes, this is key support on the pink zone. So overall, maybe it will put in a bit of continuation and a bit of a bigger bounce over there. Alrighty, what else? What else have we got over here? Let me just scroll through our list, see anything else interesting. Most of the coins are coming down. Let's actually just go through the list on the daily. We'll just kind of scroll through. That's what we'll do. We were on hype, so we'll continue from there, and we'll just kind of like get a bit of an overview of where things are maybe going. I also want to mention before we do get into all of that, guys, really massive appreciation. Look at the subscriber count. It keeps going up over here. So if you haven't already subscribed, go through to the channel, my personal channel. I have a lot that I want to share there with you guys and, you know, help you with mindset, things like that. There's a whole bunch. I haven't completely decided the direction of the channel yet, but I'm going to start to upload. I'll try as much as possible. We'll see. Maybe like once every 2 weeks. Maybe that's a reasonable time. Scroll through to the bottom. All my socials are there. Everything is over there. Follow Kyle. Go through to the bottom. Click on that one, right? That is the vlogs channel. Vlogs channel. There we go. I know that's Dylan over there putting his comment. Thanks. I saw you subscribe. I replied to every single comment, every single one. So if you have something you want to say over there, anything, go through, share your thoughts. Let me know what you think I should do on that channel. Go and comment on the video over there. Alrighty, let's move through. So hype, I'm still looking possible. The bullish case scenario is you pull back to 32, holds that, and then you can start to work your way up. Apex, I'm still calling for 40 cents. You know, these are absolute garbage coins. They're just going down. Ondo flipping support into resistance, not a good sign. It means it could continue to mark its way down. BNB, you know, we said price breaks down, comes into this zone, look for the rejection. I think this is another lower high right over here, and it's probably going to make its way down to about 682. BitGet token, massive distribution over here, probably coming all the way back down to fulfill a lot of this inefficiency. It won't happen overnight, but over time, $1.70. Crypto.com, full retrace, another scam pump over there. OKB, also an exchange token, full retrace in my opinion, $51 is incoming. Down, all of these are down. Wow. Aether, down, new lows. Tau, I can't be optimistic on Tau even if everything else is going down. I have to say probably coming back all the way for 207. Render, full distribution over here. You got a little bit of support coming in at 127. GetGrass, full distribution going to zero. FET on its way back down to 15, 16 cents. Zero Gravity, not looking good. We have SPX, which put in a big bounce. This is probably going to be the lower high that's going to fade all the way back down and sweep below 36. WIF, also looking for the sweep below 31 cents. Pepe, rejecting off of previous support, now flipping into resistance. You're probably going to retrace this entire thing. So if you happen to be holding Pepe and you are a Pepe millionaire, now may be your chance to remain a Pepe millionaire by exiting. It's probably going down. It's probably going down. Maybe you can rally up as much as about 575 over your last 3 digits, and then it's going to retrace all of this over time. Bonk, somebody check on Bonk guy. Yeah, I wonder if he's still holding his Bonk. Remember, he's the guy that has like a multi-million-dollar position open on Bonk. It's going to reject. It's probably going to go down. It's just going to bleed through. You have support at 377. And then after that, you're talking about full retraces. Butthole, it's been stretched. And it will get stretched a bit more. 6577. It's going down. Unbelievable. Look at that. Popcat. Basically hanging around those lows, not looking good. Useless. Also one of Bonk Guy's coins that he likes. Look, it's actually reclaiming kind of a key level over here. So I don't have too much to comment on this one. But I can't imagine long-term it's not going to come back for this. These things you don't hold long-term ever. Okay. Especially when you study where you are within the cycle. So let's actually go back to this. Return on investment since the cycle low. So this is this cycle over here, the purple one flashing on the screen. And if you look at the other cycles, this in your first 100 days is where you build those kind of positions that you hold, call it long term. You're holding it for the rest of the cycle. Now you don't do that. That's crazy. You can't do that. Okay. So all of them are terrible. All of them are terrible. It's bad. It's bad. Yeah, nothing over there. Altcoin, a little bit of a bounce off of this zone, but again, your best case scenario is like 63. Dogecoin marking down, new lower high. Yeah, this one has a lot more support and liquidity than others, but probably coming down to at least like 10.78. Yeah, down. Andy, Wolf, 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗄, even 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗄, which remember the market makers were defending this for a long time, broke that down. Now you have to look at full retrace, right? Which means you may as well look for short opportunities, because I'm pretty sure this thing is just going to continue to mark down. So yeah, I would be looking all the way back down to the range lows over here. 2144 are the last couple of digits. Naira, look at that. What a scam. What an absolute criminal activity. All full on crime, right? Somebody call the cops, because yeah, there was crime all over the place. Absolutely terrible. Goku, I still hold all the tokens, by the way, but pretty much zeroed out on this one. So I still hold all the tokens. I can never be a seller unless it reaches over $100 million. GigaChad, also full retrace all the way out. Yeah, Aura all the way down. Everything is wrecked. It's all wrecked. SQD, very volatile coin. I wouldn't really play games with this. It's a bit of a gamble. Yeah, it's all terrible. This is one that actually doesn't look too bad. Unreal. 𝗏𝗏cy, Monero. If you want to go long on something, just go long on Monero, put your stop loss under the weekly low, and that's it. Let's add Monero to the top of the list. Let's start building can we find the coin that goes up list. So far, Monero's on that list. Monero is one of the coins, right? It's one of the coins over there. Polygon, you want to see Polygon? I don't think you want to see Polygon. Let's continue through this list over here. Back onto the daily. Okay, back onto the daily over here. So Xano, whatever this is, it is still, it's okay, but I wouldn't really touch it. I feel like that's dangerous. Moonwell, gone, dead. Virtuals, another lower high. It's probably coming all the way back down to 43 cents. Pendle, we just spoke about. Litecoin, yeah, I wouldn't touch it. It's probably eventually coming back down to range lows. Chainlink, let's have a look at Chainlink. Do you have a little bit of a trend line developing there? Not bad, a little bit of a trend line, but this is aggressive selling action over here. Like when this trend line breaks, then you're looking down to $8. There we go. This is where you're looking at 850-ish. I'm going to draw two lines in. Just give myself some breathing room. There we go, into that 830 pocket. As soon as you break that 830. Kaito, dead. ENS, nah, dead. Going back to range lows. Here it is. This is going here. 750. ENA sounds similar to ENS, and it looks similar in terms of the chart. It's probably also coming all the way back here to 19. This will distribute. If you made money off this, be happy and take your profits. Whatever this is, it's dead. Aptos, dead. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. Guys, this is crazy. It's dead. Near holding key support, but like I just can't think that this is not going to distribute with the rest of the market. It's probably going to drop down. Pith riding the wave, like it looks like a surfer, right? Just riding that wave down. So yeah, on its way to zero. Like, I mean, that's the best way I can draw this. Zero liquidity. It's absolutely scary. Hedra, this is the one that you guys are oftentimes bullish on. Broke the trend line. Therefore, to me, this opens up a short trade. This would actually be one of the better short trades that are out there. It may be even worth starting to short over here. You can use on a lower time frame. Let's just actually have a look at this. I just want to double check that we've measured everything correctly. So from high, let me just do the whole fib again because I can't find that. There we go. From high to low. If this comes into the golden pocket over here, this is a beautiful short that lines up with the inverse fair value gap as well. So Hedra, I would say if you see something like that, look for the short. You can short that. Let's go back on the daily. Probably all the way back down to the lows, which means this is what your risk to reward looks like. Do we choose the short one? There we go. So if you get it in this pocket over here, That's your risk to reward, 4-1. You're looking at a 73% downside move. Injective died. Full distribution. I'm pretty sure it's coming all the way back down to like 259. Fog died. Optimism never lived. It just was born and died. Arbitrum was born and died. Supra died. Curve is effectively dead. Cetus is dead. Pulse Chain died. Least Richard Hart has a few Gucci bags. What's it? Louis Vuittons. Gucci's probably too cheap for him. A couple of Louis Vuittons, but this one's gone. Syrup is dying right now. He has another short trade. So let's add those to the list. What are our short trades over here? Hardest, do you remember? We have Syrup, and what was the one we just looked at? Is it Cetus? Let me just see over here. Curve, Supra, let's go back. Oh, it was H-bar. Okay, let's put H-bar next to Syrup. Here's our short trades. So Syrup, I mean, you can basically just go short immediately. Like, that's it. You just short right over here. Easy. There you go. Just go short. The end. And you can just short this all the way back down to the bottom. 14 cents. Okay, cool. So we got that. What else? We may as well finish the list, right? We dedicated to the cause. Let's just see what else there is. So 𝗨 token, new all-time lows, very bullish. Guns also basically new lows. Super, what is the Superverse? It was Superfarm, now Superverse, Elio's project. No disrespect to Elio, but it's probably going to 0.08. It doesn't look great. There's no bids over there. Nakamoto already died. Aave, it's okay. Aave is one of the few that at least have this rounded bottom, but I don't think it's gonna mark up or anything like that. Lido is terrible. C-Pool's down, terrible. Dots died a long time ago, many years ago. Jasmy is dead. Velo is basically dead. World Liberty Finance is another one to put on the short list. So I'm just going to add that with those three. We'll go back to Velo. Rune died as well a long time ago, unfortunately. Evo's dead. Vine is at new lows. Hamster absolutely died. Another criminal activity for you. Somebody should pursue that team. Trump, another free short trade. Trump and Melania, you just put those next to each other. So let's put that with 𝗨. No, above that. It was World Liberty Finance. So we got H-Bar, Syrup, World Liberty Finance, Trump. I told you that any spikes that come into here, free short trade. Free short trade over there. This is another criminal organization. I think, I don't know, am I going to get sued now? This thing's going straight down. NPC, we have Gate. Gate is probably coming down to 838. IMX, it won't even load. I don't know. Hemi. Let me just refresh here, guys. Okay, we're on Gate. Let's go back to Gate. There we go. IMX finished. Hemi finished. Axelar straight downtrend. Cake average, but obviously not going to buy that. We know what happened over here. We got our first and second buy in over there. We rode it to the top. We exited before this, so I'm very happy about that. Filecoin full distribution, new lows. Manu, terrible. Maple free short trade, another one, just shorted. Okay, we'll put this one with our list. Free short trade, just shorted right now. Basically, stops go above, and you can short it down. Okay, so we already did this one. We did this one, Syrup. I just have it twice. Okay, see, I still came up with the same idea. Drift. I'm just going to go through the list, guys. There's no point talking. What are we even talking about here? Let's just see if anything comes up. Unreal. Look at that form. Unreal. How is this legal? Atom, Unreal. And that basically, oh my goodness, look at that. Co-AI, unbelievable. Jito, that was the short trade. Must reclaim here. And didn't reclaim, straight down. D bridge, probably a free short trade back down to 0.013. KeyCat is dead. ZK hanging around over here at the lows. Of course, price chart not doing too great. Decred still coming down. AI, what is this thing over here again? It's D-Agent AI. Look at that. How unbelievable is that? Lisk, remember this thing had a big pump the other day. Everyone was getting all excited. 2017 coin, straight back down. Free short trade. I even gave you where to short it. I remember. Jupiter, basically new lows. Zilliqa, new lows. Oh my gosh, look at that. S Fund. Already took out the liquidation from September over there. Sahara is doing okay. This is one of the few that's doing okay. Okay, and that is unfortunately your story when it comes to the market. So we went through the full list. That's everything on my what do we call this thing again? TradingView. That's another thing that I'll renew today as well on Black Friday, TradingView. So guys, I mean, stick with the winners. Stick with the winners. That's why you got to stick with the winners. This is why you don't want to be a long-term holder. Like you don't want to buy in, at least in my opinion, you don't want to buy in fundamentals. I could be completely wrong, but that's what it looks like. There's just too many coins out there, not enough liquidity to go around, and it's just getting absolutely rinsed. So we gave you a whole bunch of short trades. There's not really many long trades over here. You got to stay with those blue chips. So yeah, if you want to discuss more, guys, 79 spots when this refreshes. I'm sure there's probably much less than that now, but take advantage on Black Friday. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much. There's another 14 of you that just joined. The link is in the description below over here. I'd love to have you guys there. Maybe we can have some candid chats about life and do some live sessions there as well in the future. I will see all of you on the next one. I hope you have a good weekend wherever you are in the world. Happy Thanksgiving to the US market, and happy Black Friday for those of you that are buying everything at discount. I'll see you soon. Cheers for now.